It's midnight and you're tuned into Nightline with me, Natasha Bust. The top stories. Israel and Hamas agree to first phase of a peace plan. Also, no forgery of documents, says Home Ministry. Good morning. Israel and Hamas signed an agreement on Thursday to cease fire and free Israeli hostages in exchange for Palestinian prisoners, the first phase of U.S. President Donald Trump's initiative to end the war in Gaza. Officials on both sides confirmed they had signed a deal following indirect talks in the Egyptian beach resort of Sharm el-Sheikh. The plan calls for Hamas to release the 20 remaining hostages, while Israel will pull back its forces to an agreed line and release nearly 2,000 Palestinian detainees. Fleets of trucks carrying food and medical aid would also be allowed to surge into Gaza. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's office said the ceasefire would take effect once the agreement is ratified by his government, which would convene after a security cabinet meeting later on Thursday. Meanwhile, Malaysia has welcomed the latest progress in negotiations towards peace in Gaza. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim described the development as a semblance of hope after months of relentless suffering and destruction in the region. Anwar said any effort to halt the violence and protect innocent lives must be pursued with sincerity and urgency. Reiterating Malaysia's unwavering support, Anwar reaffirmed the country's solidarity with the people of Palestine in their long-standing struggle for justice, dignity and statehood. The Prime Minister also urged all relevant parties to seize this opportunity to move towards comprehensive and enduring peace. Anwar said the emerging Gaza peace plan should be viewed as an opportunity for the revival of principled democracy. He noted that Malaysia supports the spirit of understanding, not out of submission, but from a firm belief that bold and principled diplomacy can pave the way for genuine peace. Now, Deputy Prime Minister Datuk Seri Ahmad Zahid Hamidi stated that Israel must respect the Gaza ceasefire plan by halting its attacks and permitting the immediate entry of humanitarian aid following Hamas's agreement to the first phase of the peace plan.
Kami yakin bahawa pihak Hamas akan melakukan penelitian terhadap beberapa isu. Namun yang paling penting ialah perang, penindasan, kebuluran dan kematian disebabkan oleh pelbagai penyakit yang timbul daripada peperangan itu mesti dihentikan.
Meanwhile, the announcement of the deal prompted messages of congratulations and hope from regional and global leaders. Hamas, in a statement, expressed appreciation to mediators from Qatar, Egypt and Turkey, as well as to Trump for their efforts to end the war and secure Israel's full withdrawal from the Gaza Strip. The group also urged Trump and international parties to ensure the Zionist regime fully honors the agreement without delay or evasion. British Prime Minister Keir Starmer, meanwhile, welcomed the Gaza ceasefire deal, calling it a moment of profound relief felt around the world and urging its full and swift implementation. In the meantime, Saudi Arabia's foreign ministry said it hoped the peace deal would prompt swift action to ease the humanitarian suffering in Gaza and ensure a full Israeli withdrawal. United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres also welcomed the ceasefire and hostage release agreement in Gaza, stressing the urgent need for unrestricted delivery of humanitarian aid and essential goods to ease the suffering. Earlier, Palestinians in southern Gaza gathered outside Nasser Hospital in Khan Yunis to mark the ceasefire agreement between Hamas and Israel.
الحمد لله اليوم أعلن الرئيس ترامب إنه الحرب وقفت وإحنا والله كثير مبسوطين إنه الحرب وقفت وهذا إشي مفرح والله إلنا وبنشكر إخواننا أي حد ساهم ولو بالكلام عن إنه يوقف هذا الحرب ووقف شلال الدماء وبنشكر باقي اخواننا في مصر وقطر على هذه الجهود لايقاف هذه الحرب.
طبعا الحمد لله على وقف اطلاق النار ووقف شلال الدماء والقتل، وطبعا مش انا بس لحالي فرحان، كل قطاع غزه فرحان، بل كل الشعب العربي كل العالم فرحان بوقف اطلاق النار ووقف شلال الدماء. كل الشكر والحب للي وافقوا معنا ووقفوا معنا وساهموا بوقف شلال الدماء، وكل الحب لكم من قطاع غزه.
To better understand the impact of the Gaza peace plan, we're joined by geostrategist Azmi Hassan. Azmi, is there any guarantee that this U.S. proposed deal will differ from previous ceasefire agreements?
Yes, this time around is quite different because Mr. Trump himself, I consider as the guarantor because he wants the deal signed by the end of this week. His insistence by forcing Qatar, Egypt, and Turkey to force Hamas to accept it, and also forcing Bibi Netanyahu, the Prime Minister of Israel, I think it shows that this particular ceasefire is very, very different. And I have a positive view that it will work out, at least for the phase 1 of the agreement.
Azmi, are there any additional conditions that should be included in the 20-point peace plan to ensure it lasts or even brings a permanent end to the violence?
Well, the most important thing that was not included in the 20-point plan is the future of Palestinian state or the statehood of Palestinian as a sovereign state. It was never mentioned. I think that this particular criteria is the most important thing. That what Hamas is fighting for, that what the people of Gaza, Palestinian, and Malaysia including, we are fighting. This is a two-state solution, basically. So whether how the color will look like for West Bank, for Jerusalem, East Jerusalem, and also Gaza, I think this is very critical. That will determine the color of the Palestinian statehood.
Thank you, Azmi, for the insights. Now, at a press conference held at MyCare headquarters in Seri Kembangan on Thursday night, MyCare Chief Executive Officer Kamaruzzaman Shaharul Anwar revealed that several activists from the Freedom Flotilla Coalition, 1,000 Madlenes to Gaza mission were reportedly mistreated while in the custody of Israeli authorities.
Peguam adalah turut melaporkan beberapa peserta telah dikasari dan terdapat penderaan fizikal dan layanan tidak berperi kemanusiaan semasa dan selepas pemintasan, termasuk ditendang, ditampar dan dicengkam dengan agresif oleh rejim Israel. Dan 1,000 Madlenes to Gaza.
The situation was revealed by lawyers from the Legal Center for Arab Minority Rights in Israel, Adalah, which has been assisting the activists through legal proceedings. Kamaruzzaman said there has been no official update on the extent of injuries sustained by the volunteers, but all participants have been confirmed safe. The 9 Malaysians were detained by Israeli forces on Wednesday, together with 136 international volunteers, and are now being held at the Ketzio prison in Israel. Meanwhile, Turkey has once again pledged its commitment to assist in securing the release of 9 more Malaysian activists currently being detained by the Zionist regime. Anwar made the announcement during the Solidarity with Gaza gathering in the capital on Wednesday night.
Sahabat saya, Tayyip Erdogan, baru bagi message, baru menteri luarnya, sampai ke Datuk Hassan, insyaAllah Turki akan terus bantu yang 9 itu.
In his address, the Prime Minister also explained that Malaysia will explore alternative routes for aid delivery into Gaza. This includes engaging with Egypt to open a land route through the Rafah border in a bid to break the blockade imposed by the Zionist regime. To ensure the second wave of the Sumut Nusantara humanitarian mission is a success, the Prime Minister pledged to utilize every available diplomatic channel. This includes engaging directly with Egyptian President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi to negotiate for the Rafah crossing to be opened as a gateway into Palestine.
Macam mana strategi nak sampai ke Mesir, pecah tembok Rafah. Takbir! Takbir! Dan kalau boleh minggu depan, setelah berunding mereka, saya akan hubungi Presiden Abdel Fattah Sisi, Presiden Mesir. Takbir! Allahu Akbar! Mudah-mudahan laluan itu lebih mudah. Yang penting apa? Untuk apa? Untuk bagi mesej bahawa kita menyokong perjuangan rakyat Gaza dan Palestin.
As the patron of Sumut Nusantara, Anwar stressed that the world can no longer remain silent in the face of decades of brutality and injustice suffered by the Palestinian people. About 20,000 people attended the solidarity gathering, including several cabinet ministers and the recently returned 23 Malaysian volunteers from the Global Sumut Flotilla humanitarian mission. The National Registration Department did not falsify any documents linked to the 7 Harimau Malaya players at the center of a controversy over their legitimacy. Home Minister Datuk Seri Saifuddin Nasution Ismail said all documents issued by the department were genuine and fully compliant with the provisions of the Federal Constitution. Speaking in the Dewan Rakyat, Saifuddin said agencies under his ministry had followed due process in accordance with constitutional requirements.
Menjawab soalan, apakah proses pemberian warga negara terhadap 7 pemain ini mematuhi semua peruntukan perlembagaan, akta, kaedah warga negara dan perlembagaan persekutuan? Jawapannya ya, bol. Sangat jelas. Okey ya. Di sana ada FIFA statute. Itu soal pemain warisan dan kelayakan. Itu FIFA dan juga FAM.
Saifuddin added that the government only issued one document, which is the birth certificate, based on information provided about the players' grandparents in line with Section 10A of the Births and Deaths Registration Act. He explained that under the checklist for Form C, a birth certificate is not a required document for citizenship applications made through the naturalization process. The minister also clarified that the issue raised by FIFA is separate from the authenticity of government-issued documents. Under FIFA statutes, a player must either be born in a country, have parents or grandparents born there, or have lived there for 5 years to qualify to represent that nation. However, the Home Minister stressed that those criteria are not the same as the Malaysian government standards for granting citizenship. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim said the 2026 budget serves as a continuous effort to strengthen Malaysia's economy, drive growth, and ensure that prosperity is shared equitably among all Malaysians. He expressed hope that the 4th Madani government budget tabling on Friday will proceed smoothly. Earlier, the Prime Minister spent about 30 minutes at the Finance Ministry in Putrajaya to inspect final preparations for the 2026 budget tabling. He was welcomed by Second Finance Minister Datuk Seri Amir Hamzah Azizan and Chief Secretary to the Government Tan Sri Shamsul Azri Abu Bakar. Anwar, who is also the Finance Minister, also reviewed and signed all key documents related to the budget. The Prime Minister also presented the proposed 2026 budget document to the Yang di-Pertuan Agong, Sultan Ibrahim. Malaysia is enhancing its competitive landscape amid global supply chain realignments and geopolitical uncertainty. 2026 budget is expected to strengthen the country's position as a stable, future-ready investment hub focused on high-value, innovation-led sectors. And in this final installment of Nightline's exclusive pre-budget series, Noor Isabel Chung has the report.
With approved investments hitting 190 billion ringgit in the first half of 2025, economists say momentum is strong in high-value sectors. Foreign direct investment rose 44%, driven by inflows into semiconductors, data centers, and green energy. Speaking to Nightline, economist Muhammad Afzal Nizam Abdul Rashid says these gains reflect strong policy signals and must be sustained.
So on that note, whatever policies that we have in respect to attracting the so-called quality investment has worked. And what we need, obviously, is to ensure that these flows continue to come in.
Sectors driving inflows include semiconductors, data centers, and renewable energy. Google is investing $2 billion in its first cloud region in Johor, while Aqua Power has signed a $10 billion deal for renewable capacity up to 2040. Trade access is also expanding through RCEP, CPTPP, and new agreements with European Free Trade Association and ASEAN partners. According to economist Muhammad Siddiq Jantan, the 2026 budget must build on this momentum with clear outcome-based incentives.
Yes, budget 2026 should roll out new wave of targeted policy for high-growth, high-value sectors, consistent with the Ekonomi Madani and also 13 Malaysia Plan's innovation focus.
He calls for tax credits linked to R&D spending and skilled job creation, as well as a digital talent accelerator and semiconductor fund. Meanwhile, policy coordination is just as important as the policies themselves.
So I think it's about coordinations, about relaying those positive messages, and at the end of the day, we'll be able to kick off all this or make it materialize in terms of materialization of these FDI's investments. And so far, I think we have done that, and I think it's about better coordinations going forward.
Both economists point to talent as a major priority, particularly in digital and green sectors.
Talent is the Malaysian new investment frontier. To future-proof the economy, we need a coherent national skills strategy that's blend education, technology, and industry participations.
Budget 2026 is expected to sharpen Malaysia's position as a stable, high-value investment destination. With the right incentives, infrastructure and talent, the country is building not just capacity, but also confidence. Nurizbal Chung, TV3.
The export of rubber-based products valued at 33 billion ringgit last year will be further intensified under the Malaysian Rubber Board LGM Strategic Plan 2026 to 2030. Plantation and Commodities Minister Datuk Seri Johari Abdul Ghani said the initiative includes measures to increase the supply of natural rubber. Johari said Malaysia was once the world's largest exporter of natural rubber, and the government now aims to reactivate idle rubber plantations to boost production of the commodity.
Cuma kita ada juga kawasan-kawasan rubber ni yang masih tidak diusahakan. Jadi inilah strategi pada tahun 2026 sampai tahun 2030 LGM akan bekerjasama dengan RISDA untuk bagaimana kita reactivate balik some of the rubber plantation ini supaya kita boleh dapat mengurangkan kita punya import natural rubber.
In 2024, Malaysia imported approximately 7.5 billion ringgit in natural rubber.
So, ekspor rubber secara keseluruhan kepada negara mencecah 33 bilion pada tahun 2024. Jadi ini akan berterusan selagi mana kita boleh terus mendapat supply sebahagian daripada natural rubber daripada negara-negara yang pengeluar. Selagi itu dia akan mengembangkan kita punya downstream activities.
The plan aims to strengthen competitiveness and ensure the industry's long-term sustainability as it remains a key contributor to the national economy.
Tahun baru, aspirasi baru. Belanjawan 2026 bukan sekadar angka. Ia hala tuju kemakmuran yang inklusif untuk rakyat dan negara.
Berdepan cabaran dan ketidaktentuan global, tumpuan terarah kepada memperkukuh asas ekonomi dan mengangkat darjat hidup rakyat.
Bersama kami, memacu ekonomi madani, memperkasa rakyat.
Jumaat 10 Oktober jam 3 petang di TV3.
Drugs worth nearly 100 million ringgit seized. This and more when we come back.
Tahun baru, aspirasi baru. Belanjawan 2026 bukan sekadar angka. Ia hala tuju kemakmuran yang inklusif untuk rakyat dan negara.
Berdepan cabaran dan ketidaktentuan global, tumpuan terarah kepada memperkukuh asas ekonomi dan mengangkat darjat hidup rakyat.
Bersama kami, memacu ekonomi madani, memperkasa rakyat.
Jumaat 10 Oktober jam 3 petang di TV3.
Welcome back. The New Straits Times has clinched the top prize in the Print Digital Fusion category at the One IFRA World Printer Summit in Munich. The award recognizes NST's innovative approach in integrating print and digital platforms to make news more engaging, accessible, and educational for readers through its initiative called Heard the News. NST Group editor Farah Naz Karim, who accepted the award in Munich, said the recognition serves as a strong motivation for the team to elevate the initiative further. Launched this year, Heard the News enables readers to read and listen to selected news stories simultaneously, enhancing comprehension, pronunciation, and awareness of current issues. Judges commended NST for turning news into an effective learning tool and for discovering creative ways to connect with younger audiences.
General knowledge by allowing readers to read.
Malaysia's ASEAN chairmanship has further elevated the region on the international stage. In that spirit, the 9th Selangor International Business Summit, SIBS 2025, convenes over 700 exhibitors, driving strategic partnerships, investments, and regional trade synergies. Organized by Invest Selangor Berhad on behalf of the Selangor State Government, SIBS 2025 is expected to attract 50,000 visitors. This year's summit, held under the theme Selangor, the Gateway to a More Inclusive and Sustainable ASEAN, serves as a strategic platform for business and trade leaders to forge partnerships and exchange insights. It has also brought together over 800 policymakers, industry leaders, and global experts under one roof. Among them, Laos's Deputy Director General, DG of the Investment Promotion Department under the Planning and Investment Ministry, or MPI, Dr. Supapon Sainalut, who took the stage to share her perspectives.
From these events, I can bring back some lesson that we can improve our business environment in Laos, because as other speakers mentioned about how to attract foreign direct investment, and as Laos as a potential for many sectors, especially for the energy sectors, that we try to promote the green energy like solar and the wind, and we have a potential in the other resources as well.
She added SIBS 2025 acts as a platform for ASEAN member states to strengthen trade ties and foster collaboration with partners across the region.
It's a big opportunity for us because the most the investors come to invest in Laos is from the regions like Thailand, Malaysia, Vietnam and other countries. So we try to promote the intra investment and trade. So we have a lot of export to the ASEAN country, and we also import a lot of machinery and other input to produce the product in Laos as well.
SIBS 2025 opened its doors on October 8th and will run until the 11th at the Kuala Lumpur Convention Centre. Moving on, the Customs Department has foiled 4 attempts to smuggle over 1,000 kilograms of cannabis buds worth 98 million ringgit in a series of raids. The operation, conducted in the Klang Valley and at Kuala Lumpur International Airport Terminal 1, KLIA-1, also led to the arrest of 5 suspects. KLIA Customs Director Zulkifli Ahmad said the operation was carried out by the Customs Enforcement Division and the Border Control and Protection Agency, AKPS. Zulkifli explained that the drugs were bound for Europe and that the syndicate's modus operandi includes concealing the drugs in boxes labeled as premium towel brands. In the first case on October 1st, a local man was detained at KLIA Terminal 1 after a baggage inspection uncovered 21.04 kilograms of cannabis worth 2.06 million ringgit. On September 27th, authorities intercepted 21 drug packages worth 21.59 million ringgit in a courier truck at the terminal's export gate. Authorities also raided 2 logistics warehouses in Shah Alam and Subang Jaya on September 29th and 30th, uncovering 52 boxes of drugs worth 45.53 million ringgit. In the third case on October 3rd, 294.35 kilograms of cannabis worth 28.85 million ringgit were seized at the KLIA Free Zone export gate. All 5 suspects aged between 35 and 60 were detained to assist investigations under the Dangerous Drugs Act. Pharma company owner arrested over cough syrup tragedy. The details when Nightline returns.
Kadang ia merah mereka bahagia. Kadang ia hitam kala berduka. Tapi langit selalu menerima senja apa adanya.
방금 정규직 결과 발표 났어. 다정 씨.
어제 네 행동 도가 지나친 건 너도 알고 있지?
화난 건 아는데.
하지만 앞으로는 마주치는 일 없었으면 좋겠어. 혹시 저 위로해 주러 온 거예요?
다정 씨도 저 힘들 때 위로해 줬잖아요. 못 믿겠지만 나 대형이야.
뭐? 몸이 젊어져?
믿어줘, 다정아.
18 Again, setiap Rabu hingga Jumaat 11 malam di slot Cam Sarang TV3 dan stream sekarang melalui Tonton.
Tahun baru, aspirasi baru. Belanjawan 2026 bukan sekadar angka. Ia hala tuju kemakmuran yang inklusif untuk rakyat dan negara.
Berdepan cabaran dan ketidaktentuan global, tumpuan terarah kepada memperkukuh asas ekonomi dan mengangkat darjat hidup rakyat.
Bersama kami, memacu ekonomi madani, memperkasa rakyat.
Jumaat 10 Oktober jam 3 petang di TV3.
The foreign front. French President Emmanuel Macron will name a new prime minister within the next 48 hours in the latest effort to chart a path out of the worst political crisis of his presidency. The Élysée presidential office said that outgoing Prime Minister Sébastien Lecornu's discussion with various parties had concluded that a majority of lawmakers were not in favor of Parliament being dissolved for early elections. Ahead of the announcement, it had been unclear whether Macron would opt to reappoint Lecornu or name a replacement, call snap elections, or even resign himself. Indian police have arrested the owner of a pharmaceutical company after a cough syrup made at his plant was linked to the deaths of at least 21 children. 75-year-old G. Ranganathan was arrested on Thursday at his home in Chennai by police from the city and from Madhya Pradesh. He was charged with culpable homicide not amounting to murder and adulteration of drugs. The cough syrup, sold under the brand name Coldriff, was manufactured by Sresan Pharma at a unit in the southern state of Tamil Nadu. Most of the children, all aged under 5, died in Madhya Pradesh state over the past month after they were prescribed the syrup, which was contaminated with a deadly toxin. Switching to sports now, football, the 2027 AFC Asian Cup qualifiers. Despite missing 7 heritage players due to FIFA sanctions, Harimau Malaya roared with a composed 3-0 win over Laos in their third-round qualifier match in Vientiane on Thursday night. After a goalless first half, Arif Aiman slotted home to give Malaysia the lead in the 54th minute. Captain Dion Cools then doubled the lead in the 68th minute before Faisal Halim added a third in the dying moments to send Peter Chakramovsky's side back to Kuala Lumpur with 3 points. With this result, Malaysia sit atop Group F with 9 points and will next face Laos again at Bukit Jalil next Tuesday. Turning to badminton, the 2025 Arctic Open. Malaysian shuttlers continue to showcase their strong form in the Super 500 tournament, storming into the quarterfinals in Vantaa, Finland on Thursday.
National women's double stars Perlitan and M. Tina were in commanding form, dismantling Indonesia's Febriana Dwi Puji Kusuma and Melissa Trias Puspitasari 21-17, 21-13. The victory kept the Malaysians on course to defend their runners-up points from last year as they next take on Taiwan's Xu Yin-Hui and Lin Ji. In the mixed doubles, Goh Soon-Huat and Siobhan Lai produced one of their most dominant performances, crushing Italy-England pair Innocenzo Santoro and Karen Fung 21-2, 21-5 in just 19 minutes. The duo now face a tough test against world number 3 Dejapol Pavaranukroh and Supisara Pesompran of Thailand.
And that concludes Nightline this time around. Before we leave, let's take a look at the scenes of celebration and rallies held to mark the historic Israel-Hamas-Gaza ceasefire deal. With that, I'm Natasha Buse. Thank you for watching and stay safe.